Let's get straight to the point. Number 8. The first 10 minutes, society forgets how to function. Imagine this. The internet drops dead. No warning, no spinning wheel of doom politely hinting at trouble, just poof. And within the first 10 minutes, humanity collectively forgets how to behave. People stare at their unresponsive phones like they're ancient relics discovered in an archaeological dig. Someone tries to blow on the Wi-Fi router like it's a Nintendo cartridge. Another guy swears he remembers how to send a text without data. He does not. Meanwhile, offices descend into chaos as workers realize their cloud-based workflow is now just a decorative screen. Even Google Docs, the place where unfinished ideas go to nap, becomes inaccessible, trapping thousands of half-written essays in digital limbo. Social media addicts go through withdrawal, suddenly forced to have thoughts without broadcasting them. Scientists would call this a behavioral shock, but let's be honest, it's just panic with extra steps.
Number 7. The first hour. Offices rediscover paper like it's a rare mineral. By the 1-hour mark, something incredible happens. Office workers begin foraging for paper, actual paper, the stuff trees used to be. People rummage through dusty supply closets like archaeologists uncovering ancient scrolls. A junior employee proudly holds up a stapler, asking, "Does this go into the cloud?" Managers attempt to run meetings without slides, resulting in chaotic hand gestures and vague descriptions like, "Imagine a graph going up-ish." Meanwhile, customer service teams are forced to communicate using landlines, devices that make sounds when you touch them and don't autocorrect your mistakes. Productivity drops so sharply that economists would need a new chart shape to describe it, something between a cliff and a black hole. And in the break room, someone suggests writing things down by hand, prompting a collective gasp. The human wrist, unused to this motion, files an immediate complaint. Society realizes something chilling. Without the internet, our entire workflow is basically arts and crafts.
Number 6. The third hour. Navigation apps vanish and humanity becomes lost. 3 hours in, and the absence of the internet starts claiming its first true victims, people trying to go places. Without navigation apps, drivers stare at their dashboards like they're waiting for divine coordinates to appear. Someone confidently announces they can navigate by instinct, only to end up in a parking lot behind a grocery store, spiritually and geographically defeated. Gas stations began selling old paper maps, which customers unfold with the enthusiasm of someone handling radioactive material. A few brave souls attempt to interpret them, rotating the map several times as if that magically changes geography. Meanwhile, rideshare drivers wander the streets aimlessly, hoping their passengers are psychic. Pedestrians, robbed of transit apps, wait at bus stops, not knowing if a bus is coming in 2 minutes or 2 geological eras. Scientists might call this temporary disorientation, but let's be honest, we've collectively forgotten how Earth works without a blue dot telling us. As frustration rises, people start forming accidental caravans, following whoever looks the most confident, usually the wrong person.
Number 5. Hour 6. Entertainment collapses and people try offline fun. 6 hours without internet, and humanity faces its greatest challenge yet: boredom. Streaming services vanish, leaving millions staring at blank TVs like they're waiting for them to reboot into an alternate universe. Someone suggests watching a DVD, prompting the question, do we still own those? Gamers try playing offline modes, only to discover their games demand online verification because apparently fun now requires a permission slip. Desperate, people turn to books, real physical ones, hesitating as they flip pages manually, confused that nothing scrolls. Families attempt board games, which start peacefully and escalate into rule disputes that threaten societal stability. Even pets seem disturbed, now forced to receive attention from humans who aren't multitasking. Music lovers try listening to the radio, rediscovering the ancient pain of not being able to skip songs. At this point, psychologists would diagnose widespread entertainment deprivation, but really we're just spoiled by infinite options and suddenly left with the analog equivalent of leftovers.
Number 4, hour 12. Misinformation vanishes and people must use facts. 12 hours into the blackout, a strange calm settles over humanity, mainly because nobody can argue online. With social media silenced, misinformation temporarily evaporates, leaving people awkwardly relying on logic and observable reality. It's deeply uncomfortable. Conspiracy theorists gather in parks like confused pigeons, waiting for new theories to download from the sky. Without endless comment sections to validate their opinions, people start sentences with shocking phrases like, "I might be wrong, but..." Meanwhile, news anchors are forced to report only what they can confirm without internet access, resulting in refreshingly short broadcasts. Even group chats fall silent, leaving friends to communicate through actual conversation instead of memes. Libraries, the original search engine, experience a modest renaissance as brave citizens wander in whispering, "Do you have information but like printed?" Scientists would call this a recalibration of epistemic habits, but really it's just the world relearning how to think without the algorithm holding its hand.
Number 3, hour 16. The Great Grocery Panic begins. 16 hours into the blackout, people start realizing something terrifying. Without the internet, nobody knows what they need from the grocery store. Meal planning apps are gone, delivery services are prehistoric memories, and suddenly everyone is standing in aisles clutching shopping baskets like they're holding emotional support animals. Shoppers roam in dazed circles, trying to remember how much milk a household really uses, or whether pasta expires before the sun does. Meanwhile, self-checkout machines, deprived of their network connection, transform into expensive statues that beep only out of spite. Employees start directing customers to actual cashiers, prompting audible gasps from individuals who haven't interacted with a human in retail since the last solar eclipse. Rumors spread that some stores are considering bringing back paper coupons, which nearly causes a riot. Nutrition labels become sacred texts as families hover together, decoding ingredients like archaeologists. Scientists might describe this situation as a supply chain perception crisis. But let's be honest, nobody remembers how to grocery shop without an app holding their hand, so they just buy snacks.
Number 2, hour 20. Communication breaks down, and humanity rediscovers talking. 20 hours in, and communication has officially collapsed. Without messaging apps, people begin sending actual voice sounds from their mouths. Primitive, but effective. Friends show up at each other's doors unannounced, triggering fight-or-flight responses typically reserved for horror movies. Group chats try to continue via group gatherings, but without emojis, nobody knows how anyone feels. A thumbs up in real life somehow feels sarcastic. Meanwhile, workplaces attempt urgent communication through phone calls, which half the population answers by saying, "Who died?" Families rediscovered the mystical art of face-to-face conversation, though most topics revolve around how much everyone misses the internet. Even teenagers, robbed of their social lifelines, wander around the house like confused NPCs waiting for dialogue options to reload. Linguists might call this a restoration of direct interpersonal exchange, but really, it's just people panicking because they've forgotten how to communicate without a typing indicator. Number 1, hour 24. The internet returns, and humanity pretends it was fine. After a full 24 hours of digital darkness, the internet suddenly roars back to life. Routers light up like festive decorations, phones buzz with the fury of 1,000 neglected notifications, and humanity collectively exhales like it just survived a mild apocalypse. People sprint to their devices, pretending they handled the outage with grace instead of crying into board games and yelling at paper maps. Social media floods instantly with dramatic posts like, "I actually enjoyed the break," from people who absolutely did not. Email inboxes explode, burying workers under a mountain of
Just following up messages sent by coworkers who also panicked. News sites publish think pieces titled, "What We Learned," which most readers click without actually reading. Scientists might claim this event shows our dependence on digital infrastructure, but honestly, all it proves is that the moment the Wi-Fi dies, we revert to confused gremlins, and the very second it returns, we pretend we were enlightened monks the whole time.
If you like the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, because unlike the internet outage we just survived, your support actually does keep things running. And hey, if you want more chill explanations about life, the universe, and all the weird stuff in between, stick around. Coolest Dude Explains has plenty more coming your way.